Hi there, my name is Laurence and I'm a librarian here at OCL, and I'm going to show you how to create a hex nut bracelet using the square knot technique. The square knot is used a lot in macrame and it may sound a little bit challenging, but I promise you after the end of this video you will have it in no time. So let's talk about materials. Here are our materials. The two main components of this bracelet are hex nuts and yarn. I have here 9 brass hex nuts. You can use more or less depending on the size and style of your bracelet, and you can purchase them at any home improvement store or online. You will need a 40-inch strand of yarn and a 36-inch strand of yarn. And you will need tape to hold your yarn in place while you're working and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. So first you're going to take your long strand of yarn, the 40-inch strand, and fold it in half so that the loop is facing the top. Okay, like so. And then you're going to take the shorter piece of yarn, fold it in half, so that the loop is facing the top. And then you're going to align it with the other loop. So now that you have 4 strands falling down, you're then going to tie a knot at the top with all 4 strands, and you want to make sure that the loop isn't too big nor too small. It should be just about the size of your pinky finger. Okay, and then we're going to tape the loop on the table, and this way the craft, your bracelet, won't move around while you're working. Okay. After you tape your cord or yarn to the table, you're going to make sure that the longer strands are on the outside of your work and the shorter strands are falling on the inside. Now, with the 2 shorter strands that are in the middle and the inside of your piece, you want to tape the ends of the yarn so that they don't fray while you're working. And I did this ahead of time, and it'll also make it easier to thread your yarn through the hex nuts. So make sure your shorter strands are in the middle and your longer strands are on the outside. Okay, so now we're going to create our square knots. Square knots are used a lot in macrame, and they're fairly simple to create. So you're going to first start out with your 4 strands. You're going to take the left outside strands and you're going to form an L shape so that it goes over the 2 middle strands and under the outside strand. Then with your outside strand, you're going to bring it under and then through the loop like so. And you're going to then pull both ends while making sure the middle strands are taut, and you're going to just pull the outside strands until you form the first half of your square knot. So we're only halfway there. So let's continue on with our square knot. Again, you have your 4 strands. This time we're going to do it on the other side. We're going to cross your right strand over into a backwards L, over the 2 middle strands and under the end strand. That same strand, the end strand, you're going to bring under and then through the loop, and then you're going to pull and tighten, making sure those middle strands are taut. And there you go. You've just created your first square knot. So we're going to try one more time to do a square knot. We're going to take our left strand, cross it over the middle strands and under the right strand, and take that right strand, bring it under and through the loop. Okay, and then we're going to tighten those outer strands, and we're almost done with that square knot. We're going to do the same thing using the right strand, cross it over the middle strands and under the left strand, bringing that left strand under and through the loop, and then tighten the outer strands. Okay, so we have now just created 2 square knots. Now I'm going to continue and make about 2 or 3 more square knots, and then it will be time to add our hex nuts. Okay, so I've just added 2 additional square knots to the bracelet, and now it's time to add the hex nuts. To start off, you're going to begin with a square knot. So you're going to take your left strand, cross it over the 2 middle strands and under that right strand. Bring the right strand under and through the loop and tighten. So here we just completed the first half of the square knot. Now your next step is to add the hex nut to the 2 middle strands. So I'm going to do that now. And you're going to add them to the 2 strands at the same time. I'm going to bring the hex nut all the way up to the top, like so. Okay, and then we're going to complete the square knot with crossing over the right strands and under, making sure it goes under the left strands. Bring the left strand under and through the loop. And then you're going to pull the outer strands, making sure the middle strands are taut. And there you go. We just added a hex nut. And you're going to continue to do this. We'll do it one more time together. You're going to start off with a square knot, crossing over your left cord, bringing the right cord under through the loop, and tightening the knot. Then we're going to add our hex nut through the 2 strands. Now this is good that we've added tape, because it also makes it easier to thread your yarn through the hex nuts. So you're going to bring the hex nut all the way up to the top, and you're going to continue with the end of your square knot, bringing the right strand over, left strand over, under through the loop, and tighten the 2 outer strands. Now you're going to continue this process until you've used up all of your hex nuts. You can use more or less hex nuts depending on the size of your bracelet and the size of your wrist and how long you want your bracelet to be. So I will be back once I've used up all of my hex nuts. Now that I have used all of the hex nuts, I'm going to complete my bracelet by adding 3 or 4 more square knots without the hex nuts. So I've just added 4 more square knots to my bracelet. I'm going to measure the bracelet around my wrist to see if I need to add more square knots. I need to add about 2 or 3 more. So let me just do that quickly. Alright, so I added a few more square knots to my bracelet, and I just measured it and it fits around my wrist perfectly. So to finish off your bracelet, you're going to tie a knot right at the end of your last square knot with all 4 strands. Okay. Now you'll find that some strands are longer than others, and that's fine because we're going to cut them off shortly. So after you tied your knot right at the end of your square knot, you're just going to cut off the ends like so, and then you can take the tape off your bracelet and try it on. Going to bring the knot through the loop, and there you have it, a hex nut bracelet using the square knot technique. And there you go, you just learned how to make a simple hex nut craft bracelet using the square knot technique. A simple bracelet that you can make for both men and women in under 30 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and happy crafting!
Support public libraries. Like, share, and subscribe for more great videos.